2, 3, 4.
Hi guys, welcome to the Car Chronicles with the Leafy Greens Band. My name is Billy.
I'm Ellen, and we want to share our adventures with you guys as we travel across the country touring and show you guys some really cool spots that we've seen.
We started our trip off in Jupiter, Florida. We drove about 12 and a half hours and went straight through to Nashville, Tennessee. While in Nashville, we headed over to Franklin, Tennessee to see our friend Bill Warmoth, the owner of Artisan Guitars. Artisan Guitars is the only exclusive Maton dealer in America. We love this brand of guitar. For me, this was like taking a trip to Disneyland. But the highlight was meeting Bill and his wife Ellie. They're two incredibly sweet people, and we're honored to be associated with them.
Our next stop was Eureka Springs and Rogers, Arkansas to see our friends Chuck and Kathy. Chuck welcomed us with his deliciously crafted Manhattans while Kathy served up her homemade hummus. On top of being a military vet, Chuck also went to culinary school. So for dinner, they served up perfectly smoked chicken and pork, roasted cauliflower, and rainbow chard. We ended up having amazing conversation and playing music until about 3 o'clock in the morning. So thank you to Chuck and Kathy for hosting us and being amazing friends.
On our third day of travel, we made a pit stop in Omaha, Nebraska to have dinner with our good friend Hattie Foster and made it up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota later that evening. This is a neat little town, so we decided to do some venue recon, see if we can add this to our roster for next year's trip. We met a bartender that introduced us to some rare Irish whiskey, which we love, and also made friends with locals Isabel and Heather, who gave us insight about our trip to Badlands and Deadwood.
Our fourth day on the road, we stopped and explored Badlands National Park. The landscape varied from grasslands to jagged rock formations, and we had to keep an eye out for rattlesnakes as we hiked. At the end of Notch Trail, we came up to a ridge that gave us a vast overlook of the South Dakota plains.
There's times when we're on these hikes where we're at a high point and you're looking down at a 200-foot drop-off. You get a sense of coming face to face with your mortality. These moments can be incredibly sobering, but also very inspiring, which is one of the things that we're trying to get from this experience.
After Badlands, we made a stop at Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. While on Mount Rushmore, we got to see a family perform a traditional Native American hoop dance. This experience was so incredibly moving that we felt compelled to sneak onto the top of the parking garage and perform America the Beautiful with the monument in the background. And it was cool to see Crazy Horse and hear about the opportunities it provides for Native Americans across the country.
We took the scenic route from Crazy Horse to Deadwood and stumbled upon an unincorporated town called Rockford. At the Moonshine Gulch Saloon, we noticed that there were some local old-timers setting up to do an open mic jam. One of them asked if we were musicians, and of course we said yes, and they were gracious enough to let us come up and participate in the jam session. This was a really fun part of the trip. What do you think, Ellen? Would you consider this a highlight?
Absolutely. Being able to get up and perform an original in front of these folks was incredibly encouraging, and the response was very flattering.
We'll get there when we get there, I'm just saying. Old lands lost, new dreams to be found. Old lands lost, new dreams to be found.
Deadwood has to be one of our favorite towns that we've visited across the country. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
And maybe next year we add it to the list of places that we're going to play, huh?
I think Paul that we met in Rockford mentioned something about that, so we'll work something out.
That would be awesome.
Our last stop for our first week of travel was Whitefish and Glacier National Park. What did you think about that little record store we found in Whitefish?
It was definitely the cleanest record store I've ever been in. Plus, they were selling a bunch of vintage Gibson guitars. And we just happened to meet another musician, singer-songwriter named Lucas. And him and I jammed for about an hour to the point where I was working up a sweat in 45-degree weather. Shocker. After stopping and having a flight of beer at Bonsai Kitchen, we actually got to see some friends of ours that were in town from Jupiter, Florida. Holly, Matt, Mike, Claudia, Steve. It was so good to see you guys. We finally got to see Glacier National Park and stopped in the Lake McDonald Lodge. What did you think about the lodge, Ellen?
It was beautiful. We walked in, there was a fire going and a couple musicians that were playing on the piano. It's awesome.
The interior design, all the wood, it was amazing.
Across the street from the lodge, there was a 6-mile hike up the mountain to a little place called Fish Lake.
And it was mostly uphill and 45 degrees out, but we were somehow sweating. Once again, shocker. Got to see a bunch of wildlife, amazing viewpoints. It was one of the most beautiful hikes we've ever done.
We explored the lodge a little bit more after our hike and found that there was a sunset cruise going out on the lake a little later that evening.
And Ellen got in trouble for bringing a glass bottle of wine onto the boat. So if you go to our Instagram, you can see her getting in trouble on our story post there. It was pretty funny. But it was a beautiful ride. We met a ton of really cool people on the boat. And, Glacier National Park is definitely a park you have to see if you've never done it. It was amazing.
Take the road less traveled. For there's always a silver lining to help guide your way. It ain't easy.
So the trip has gone so well so far. The car's running smooth. The trailer's been pulling smooth. Everything's in good shape. We're in good shape. We're getting our prison workouts in. Ellen is my new personal training client.
We also really, really appreciate you guys following along on our journey. Like Billy said, it's been absolutely incredible, and we're excited to share all of it with you guys and all the cool spots that we've stayed and seen. And we hope that it also inspires you guys in some way, shape, or form.
To quit your job. Quit your job and start a rock and roll band and go across the country.
Or just follow your dreams in any way that you want. So we absolutely love you guys, and we miss you, and we're excited to share the rest of the journey with you guys.
Peace.
Thanks for watching.